Hey, welcome to Tennis 2020, Real Talk, where with real people having real discussions about real life things in this time when all of us are trying to figure out what's going on. This is brought to you as a free service from Austin Tennis Academy and EKH Media. I want to very much thank Austin Tennis Academy for making available the resources to do this, to share with everyone. Today, we are talking with Dan Kiernan of SotoTennis Academy and Sotogrande. I'm not sure if it's Sotogrande or Sotogrande in Spain. And welcome, Dan. How you doing, man?
How you doing, Dewey? Thanks for having me on. Yeah, doing good, doing really good under the circumstances for sure.
So I think any of us that have watched the news at all know that Spain has been one of the places that's in the news and, has been challenged by COVID-19, coronavirus, whatever it is that we want to refer to it by. Can you tell us how is that affecting things at Soto Tennis Academy?
Yeah, I mean, I think look, we're in the same place as as pretty much the rest of the world is going to be if hasn't already been, and we're getting our heads around pretty fast. We're in a changing world, at least for the next few weeks. We need to get our heads around the fact that we don't have the same level of freedom that we've had. Um, and we've quickly turned that into an opportunity. I think it's the way that we think in Sotogrande, Soto Tennis Academy is control the controllables as our big philosophy. And these things are out of our control. Last week we were running as normal. Obviously, we were hearing the stories from northern Spain, how things were escalating pretty fast. Friday, we were still open as an academy, while still very much having our ears to the ground and listening and taking the advice from the government. And, we were starting to get things in place because it was becoming pretty obvious that it was moving. Things were moving fast. Sports clubs and whatever else might have been, schools were going to be shut pretty fast, and then it happened, and it happened. It happened fast. We were on the courts Friday. We were on the courts on Saturday. I got a call from the owner of the tennis club to say they'd been ordered to close the tennis club down from 3 o'clock. So we had to stop our session at 2:45. And pretty much within that hour, we had to then get communication out to to everyone that was involved in the academy, and that was that really. It really did happen that fast. And yeah, here we are. We've been stuck in our houses now. We went on complete lockdown on Sunday. And the situation's real. It's you go out your house without a supermarket receipt, without a pharmacy receipt, you're told to get back in your house pretty quick, and
Oh, wow.
there's
So it is
fines.
kind of
It's
shelter in place
it's
as.
it's it's full. It really is full on, and I mean we're talking Sotogrande. There was talk that there was one coronavirus case, from somebody who had come down from Madrid, but certainly in Sotogrande itself, it hasn't been a hotbed as such
Mhm.
of the virus. But that's
Can we,
that's what the government's
Dan?
gone with. We have to respect it.
Can we back up and set the table a little bit? Because I'm not familiar
Yeah.
with the geography of Europe
Yes.
or within Spain. So you said people came down from the north. Where is Sotogrande?
So
And
Sotogrande is right down. We're about 12 miles from Africa. So
ah,
you on a good day, you can see Morocco from Sotogrande. So we are almost as far away from where it started in Spain. So what started to happen with the governments in Spain, you have your local governments and local provinces, and they started to lock down in, I think there was 4 provinces that were locked down, and that was very much at the complete other end of the country. So we're talking 12, 13, 14 hours drive away.
So basically driving
For,
across Texas.
yeah, well, no, exactly. Yeah, I mean, for us, it's but then you go to the UK and you go even smaller, you know, and
I hear
actually,
you.
and actually in Spain itself, it's not a highly populated country, you know, so it is quite spread out, Spain. So and as you come down, so Sotogrande itself, we're only talking about 3 to 4 thousand people that live here. So
Oh wow! And I
it's a
think
little.
we have a picture where you can kind of see palm trees and things.
Yeah, yeah, it's beautiful. And everyone, I guess, lives in their own bubble to a degree, which works very well for us as a tennis academy because it's just no nonsense work that we can crack on with. But everyone, you kind of don't think it's going to happen. You don't think, you know, we almost felt a bit protected, and very quickly word got out that being, I guess, for lack of a better word, a selfish family had made their way down from Madrid, which was kind of one of the epicenters of what's been going on in Spain. And before you knew it, 3,000 people in Sotogrande knew that this family had made their way down, and one of them had been taken off ill. So there was a little mild panic. You know, you could feel it, and stories were starting to emerge. And then obviously that was taken out of everyone's hands anyway because the government made a strong stance and a pretty early stance. And yeah, I mean everyone will have their different opinions on how we deal with this, but we went with it. You know, we're
Yep.
happy that, you know, we followed the way that we feel it should have gone anyway. And yeah, and then it's a case of, you know, quickly switching our minds to different ways of thinking, really.
Can you tell us a little bit about your program, kind of the numbers of people who are in the program, the types of players that you serve, the numbers of players? You know, who is it
Yeah.
that we're talking about that counts on Soto Tennis Academy for their tennis?
Yeah, so I mean, we have what we would call full-time service players. Is players who we're completely managing their programs. You know, we're with them 5 days, 6 days a week. We're completely accountable for their development and all aspects of their development, from their schooling, obviously their tournaments, their tactical development, mental, physical, you know, their lives basically. And we have we have 40 of those players. Um, and then we have kind of another 15 younger players who are playing competition level, who again we're seeing very frequently. As it happened on the Friday, we had a team of 8 players in Portugal. We had 3 guys playing in futures events who were in the second round of the main draws, and we had another 4 or 5 guys playing in the pre-qualifying event. And the way that it worked in Portugal, in the middle of the matches, the ITF made the announcement, and they came on and they told everyone in the middle of the matches what had happened. Now, we
Oh
had
wow!
2 coaches in Portugal, which was a very unique situation that all of a sudden, guys, done. The tournament's done. But they were asked to then finish the match, and then that was that. So we were in a situation then when we had some decisions to make. Are we going to try and get these players back to their families? You know, at this point, the academy hadn't been closed, and I'm really pleased with the leadership that all of the team showed, because everyone acted very fast. There was lots of very sensible conversations and discussions with parents, and actually we've ended up in a place where in our boarding houses, and we have a couple of boarding houses, you know, through the school and also through the tennis academy, and everybody that was in the boarding houses were moved quickly back to be with their families, which is where they should be for this. And that
Are
was
these
that.
mostly Spanish players? Are they from
No,
Spain or are they?
honestly, on it, all over. So we have about 15 to 20 nationalities at any time. So I mean, we got quite a few families that are living in Sotogrande, but from Bulgaria, from Australia, from different places. They are still here. We then moved people back to Portugal, back to the UK, back to Ireland. We actually had We
And
had a
all the
couple of
borders were still
families.
open. All the borders are still open, so there's still free movement
At
amongst.
this point, it did become actually away from the tennis academy. It was my 40th birthday celebrations this weekend. So I
Happy
had a
birthday.
I had a lot of friends actually that were over. We were having a big golf weekend in Sotogrande. Half of them made it, half of them didn't. The half that did make it, we had some pretty mad panics on the Sunday night trying to get them onto flights, and because different flights were cancelled, and that was definitely quite challenging. Um, the way that it worked actually quite well for us is we're 15 minutes from Gibraltar, which is technically the UK, which
Hmm.
um, the flights from Gibraltar were running, whereas there was some flights on the way to Malaga from the UK which were turning around mid flight.
I've
So
heard.
the
I
once
actually
the
heard of some of that happening.
yeah, so there was a few. Look, at the end of the day, there'll be people in a lot worse situations than us, but there was definitely a lot of just there was a very noticeable change. It was something I guess is unprecedented that we've dealt with really in our lives before, where there's such an eerie feeling of what was going on. But everyone got home safe. Those that are still in Sotogrande obviously kind of tucked up in their homes, and yeah, nobody's allowed on the streets. You can. One of the reasons you can leave is if you walk your dog. Um,
Right.
so people were starting to rent their dogs out, and it's true, yeah. And so now the police the police have countered that, by you now can only walk your dog if you have the dog passport, and they're
Wow.
genuinely, this is what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're checking the passports. They're checking receipts. It seems to be a pretty big operation, and they're determined to make sure people stick to what the rules are. So
I love that people
yeah,
are
there's going to be
being
some
in,
stories.
are finding ingenuity. So renting dogs and things like that. That's awesome. I think it's
Yeah,
equally great that people are catching up with it quick enough so that they're not putting people at risk. On the
absolutely.
ingenuity front, what types of things are you setting up for your players to do while they're not able to be on the courts at the academy?
Yeah, so I mean, we again very quickly, and I touched on it earlier. I can't preach control the controllables to the world, and certainly to my players, my coaches, the parents, and then start whinging about something like this. So
Hmm.
it's been a nice test for me and for the team, and we've quickly got onto lots of different conference call softwares. We had a big kind of mental training session with all the players today, and I was, we use this as an example. I'm really proud of how everyone at the academy's been very mentally tough on this. It's not a nice situation. You get put in a different situation where absolutely there's worries, financial worries. There's worries about how you're going to be able to keep your tennis going, how you're going to be able to keep your business, how you're going to be able to keep people in jobs. All of these worries are real. However, we've gone right, and this is a big belief of ours. When something bad happens, opportunity opens,
I,
and
I
and
certainly
there's
believe that wholeheartedly.
yeah, and there's hundreds of people out there that are feeling sorry for themselves right now. So we have a competitive edge, and that's the way that this has been sold, and there's lots of different factors that go into making great tennis players, but also great people, which sits at the heart of our philosophies. And the only thing that we're not able to do currently is hit tennis balls. It's the only thing,
Hmm.
and that is one part of becoming a fantastic tennis player, but it's far from the only part. We do have people in the UK, Portugal, different places that are still able to get on the courts. For how much longer, we don't know. So very quickly, we set up an online academy. We've done this through Google Classrooms, and what we've done is I have 13 staff members. Full I wage my staff members. and they'll continue to be waged as long as we can continue to do this, and we're all working 10 hours a day, and if you get 13 highly motivated people working 10 hours a day, it's amazing the resource and the content that you can bring together. And we have full mental training sessions and programs that are going on alongside Anthony Ross in Australia, who has been brilliant. He's our consultant mentally tough tennis training program partners, and he's been amazing. He's helped us a lot from afar. We have full kind of tactical sessions that are being introduced every day. We've set tactical projects, which involves researching identities, game identities, videos, learning your patterns, really strongly understanding how you play the game and want to play the game, and learning everything there is to know about our sport. We want smart tennis players with high IQs for the game. Our physical coaches have set individualized programs in line with what the players need, but also with the facilities that they have. So we already, in 4 days, we have about 170 videos on file that every single player is getting their programs, and not just their programs, but getting videos linked to those programs. We've set lots of skills challenges.
This is amazing that you're sharing all of this. So you had the videos already in place. So you didn't create
No,
170 videos. These are
we've
things that
we've
are archived
created them in
someplace.
no,
You
they've
created
been
them in
created
two
in two
days.
days.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. So
So
that's
you
and
just
that.
how long are these? How long are these videos?
So I mean that would be 20-30 second videos, clips of different exercises. So that's. And my fitness team have done that all themselves. They've done that between the two of them, which is, I mean, and they're incredible people. But they've just cracked out. They've done it on the balcony in their apartments. Um, every single player has received their own individualized program. That if you, like you say, you click through, these are the exercises, and this is how you do the exercise.
Okay, so undoubtedly there was some work that you did long ago as you built this team out, which is paying off right now, right? There is no
Yeah,
way that you just take a random bunch of people and say, all right, crisis time, we're going to use it as an opportunity, a competitive advantage for our people versus someone else. And not that, you're saying, well, we're going to hurt someone else, but you just have that opportunity, right? Because you have good people in place
absolutely.
and you've provided them with the resources. You've said, good, let's all dig in. Maybe you're not getting as much per hour because you're working more, but I'm going to continue to make you whole as best we possibly can for as long as we possibly can. And for our players, they're going to be able to look at those 5 all in the third moments and say, man, I bet that person on the other side of the net didn't have the ability to, dig in during that time that I had. So now here's where it's going to shine. Here's where I get to separate myself from somebody else
Yeah.
based on the fact that you, Dan, put together a team that didn't cry in their towel or their milk, and they just kind of said, "Nah, let's just dig in and see what we can do right here." That's so cool. I'm amazed. I'm blown away. I'm in a similar
Yeah, and I think
situation, and
it's
that I, I think at the end of this, I got to introduce you to the person I work with at Austin Tennis Academy, Jack Newman, because you guys are the same kind of people. And I'm
no,
sorry
no,
I interrupted
absolutely.
you.
No, no, not at all. I think it's a reflection. I mean, I have, and I've known this for a long time. I have a really special group. I really do, and we've worked hard as a team, and to to set the culture, we have very strong values that we all believe in. We have very strong behaviors that we believe in on a day-to-day basis, very strong principles that we live by, and I would extend that then to the players and parents at this academy as well. And I think looking at the WhatsApp groups, looking at the feedback, looking at how everyone's got involved in this is just this is just a continuation of our day to day. You know, it's yes, the situation has changed. However, we're all trained up to, this is how we think, this is how we work. You know, I've seen on our academy WhatsApp group there, one of the parents has just mentioned before we got on the call that the ITF tournaments have been cancelled now till June the 7th, and
Oh wow. There's
within
new
five
information
minutes,
right
10
there,
people.
everybody. I don't know
Yeah,
as it's come through to me. ITF events closed until June 7th, so second week of
and also
June.
ATP and WTA as well. ATP WTA as well. So and the response on that WhatsApp group within 5 minutes was fantastic opportunity. Everyone jumped on. Everyone jumped on. Brilliant. You know, a couple of players. We're going to be mental and physical animals. This is it. This is how we're going to think. You know, this is how we've. It's control the controllables is not a fluffy saying that we use. You know, this is the values that we have. They're talked about and they're discussed between the team. We use examples on a weekly basis, and that. So for me, this is just a continuation of that. It's a new challenge, but as you say, and any players that are listening to this, you know, we deal with these challenges like this. What's the challenge of a bad line call at 5-all in the third set? You know, what's the challenge of, you know, whatever it might be that happens, we know that happens on the tennis court. So I think tennis sets us up for life, and these sort of periods are defining periods for us all. You know, and we will all globally get through these periods. You know, I know there's going to be some people more unfortunate than others, but the reality is all of us are going to have some hard times with it, without a doubt. But we also have a decision on how we view this. You know, and like anything, you know, and that's, you know, as long as we're still standing, we'll be viewing it in the positive way that we can, really.
So you've given some specifics on things which your program is doing, and I know not everyone has access to a team of people that are as
Yeah.
headstrong and forward thinking as yours. Do you have any other ideas on what, I guess, right across the board, what a parent can do with a child that's stressed out, or maybe they're stressed out, what a coach can do if maybe they have a small program and just a few
Yeah.
kids to keep their income going?
Yeah.
What a player can do
I
that
mean,
just feels lost.
absolutely. It's we have to. There's going to be some parents that aren't going to view it this way, you know, and there will be some parents that will just look at tennis is hitting balls, hit balls, hit balls, hit balls. If if we can educate, and I'm sure there's lots of players and parents that are open to this, there genuinely is lots and lots of ways of becoming a better tennis player. You know, and I think, you know, having you know, I saw, you know, one of our ex coaches today used the conference call that we were using. He was doing a fitness session with all. He's got a small program. He's got 7 or 8 players on his program, and they all used the conference. It's a free conference setup, and they were all doing a fitness session together in their houses. You know, and that was, you know, they were all linked. So he was leading the session, and then they were all following. You know,
Hmm.
it's a great time to do some analysis of serve, of technique on shots. You know, to spend consultancies with the coach doing individual lessons. You know, again, we're fortunate, but we have fortunate, but also set it up that we have a very strong sports psychology model that we use. So we're using that time to really make sure our players understand the model, and get mentally fitter. You know, and using that time, setting projects. You know, who do you play like? You know, and it might be little Johnny. Who do you like to play like? Okay, you're gonna have to watch 5 hours worth of John Isner. You're gonna be 6'9". You're gonna be a big boy. Tell me, how does John Isner win his points? You know, learn about the sport. John Isner wins his points this way. How many times in 2019 did he hold his serve? You know, how many times did he break serve? You know, how does he hold serve? You know, bringing things together. I think there's lots of different things that can be done. I think there's definitely some challenges in how it's sold to parents and players, because I think, and that's where I think we have to, as a community, be quite creative, and that's certainly, if this goes on for a long time, I think that does become our challenge more and more, without question. And I've got lots of, we're bringing a lot of this video work together, so that we have a bigger picture on this. You know, if we are if we are having to go the way of being an online academy for a few months, then I'm determined to get to the point where we have the resource and content to be an online academy that people want to buy into. But I would say that
So
the
you're
best way
saying
is
that you're going to be able to scale this so that others
yeah,
are able to access this also?
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah. I think I when the second I heard the news coming out of China a couple of months ago, it became very clear to me that we're going to move into an online world. You know,
Hmm.
people are going to be in their houses. You know, people are in their houses. They're going to spend more time on social media. They're going to spend more time online, and people still need to learn. People still will have the thirst to learn. People will still have the time. So we're moving towards the place where, and this has always been a vision of mine. You know, I've had this vision for many years, but I've never had the time and the headspace to be able to bring this together when we're kind of running. But that is absolutely the way that we will go with this. And I think people can do that. I think that's people can do that on a smaller scale. I suppose any advice I would give is people that are running smaller programs, communicate. don't
Right.
don't assume that people don't want anything. You know, I think that would be another little bit of advice I'd give. You know, if you're looking after 5 or 6 players, or you have a group that comes in 3 times a week, reach out to them, you know, and let them know that these are some of the things that we want to continue doing. You know, and even reach out and get some ideas from them. But I don't think any of us in the tennis community should just assume that we're going to shut down.
So
You know,
would you say that something everybody should do, and maybe this even extends beyond tennis, is to look into that box of ideas of projects, things that you've wanted to accomplish but haven't had the time to do, and look and say, well, now maybe is that time to dig
what
in, and
one
once you can
hundred
get back on
percent,
the court, if you can get on the court before tournaments begin, maybe it's the time to make a grip change that you wouldn't have made otherwise because
one
there's
hundred
always
percent.
another tournament, right? Um,
100%. We the first project that we did as part of our online course was the I Can project.
what is that?
And anyone that so and we've actually posted a couple of them on social media today. So we know what the ambition of our players is at this academy, because we've done that with them. So we know that at Soto Tennis Academy, the ambition is to be a professional tennis player or to play Division One college. Now that's the first thing I do every year with our players. You know, that might be different. That might be at a smaller club. The ambition might be to play for the high school team, or you know, it kind of
Hmm?
doesn't matter what the ambition
Yeah.
is, other than everything that we then do feeds into that ambition. You know, if that's what people are telling us, then we need to have the relevant behaviors, values, day-to-day environment that enables people to achieve that. And so what I've lost my trail of thought, do we?
The
Uh,
IPM.
The I can.
The I can. Yeah, so what we set as the first project was, this is your ambition. What can you do in the next few weeks in order to achieve that? You know, rather than us, we can all probably come up with a list of what we can't do, but what can you do? And our players have come up with some of the most amazing amazing things. You know, from I can learn Spanish, I can just do this project that I was unable to do. I can, you know, I can become the fittest person I possibly can. I can fully learn my game identity and understand. I can get my routines fully set, and get everyone into that mindset of what we can do. You know, and I would stretch that to everybody. What can we do? There's certain things we can't. However, that's out of our control. What's in our control
Right.
is what we can. And that was the starting point for then what we've done the rest of the week so far.
This is a conversation I think we could take for over a long period of time. What I would like to do is maybe close now, but if you're
Yeah,
amenable to it, if we can check back in with you now, on a regular basis or something, and have these discussions, because I think there was a lot of information that you brought forward to people that they are now going to go back and say, wow, what can we do? If I, was running a program, and I don't at the moment, I'm a coach in a program, but I would be looking and saying, geez, can we do that? But I'm also certainly running and saying, geez, can we go create a whole bunch of videos? They created 170 videos in this itty bitty bit of time. I
yeah,
undoubtedly have more video production equipment available to me
yeah,
that I'm probably looking at right now, right? Than you
yeah,
have, yet you got it done, right? So there's no reason
yeah,
with the facilities that we have at Austin Tennis Academy, with the equipment that's available to me and the resources that Jack Newman has always brought, that we can't do
yeah,
something very similar. And then if there's maybe ways that we can share with other people, right? You said, well, you're going to scale what you're doing. Well, if we did the same thing, and if we created resources and find ways to work with maybe people who don't have as many resources, or maybe others who have great resources, and we just kind of blow this whole thing up really big, we can
No,
see
no,
what we can do.
absolutely. And I think, look, at the end of the day, and there's not one bit of information that I've held back here or plan to. We are completely transparent in everything we do. We're not. I said about a competitive edge. I don't see us competing with any tennis academy. I'm talking purely about competitive edge for each individual on their journeys, and it's we're one big family. We this is the tennis community. There's I've got friends around the world. This sport's giving us everything that it has given us. And I've met amazing person after amazing person, as I'm sure yourself has. And yes, this is a time for us to all get together. And I'd be more than happy to come back on. I'd be more than happy for people to get in touch. I'd be more than happy to share anything at all and give any help that we possibly can, because it is testing times. But I would stretch that out to even when it's not. This is I don't see this as trying to get one up on anybody. This is what we're in a position to do. That we're trying to provide the best environments we can for people to go and excel in their careers. And I think the more good spirit and positivity that we spread, the better for all of us, really. So I appreciate the opportunity to come on to this
Yeah, no,
and to speak to you about this.
you're very welcome. We view this as Tennis 2020 and Real Talk as being a conduit, not a filter for information. So we
Yeah,
just want to bring in as much information as we possibly can and share it with people and let them be the filter for what they want to do and what they think is going to work best for their community. But I agree, the tennis
absolutely,
community is very small. We are all one. We know people that have
absolutely,
connections all over the place, and
completely.
if we can help each other, because the reality is, you know, we compete with video games and things which have people being
Yeah,
sedentary. We're helping people be active and chase dreams. And there's
absolutely,
plenty of people who need people helping them chase dreams. So thank you, Dan.
absolutely.
We're going to
No,
close the
thank you,
show,
Dewey.
but if
Thank
you
you.
can just stay on for a second, so we're kind of letting people
Yeah, no
behind the
problem.
curtain. If you can just stay on while we close the show, and then maybe you and I can talk for a couple seconds. So
Awesome.
thank you for
Thanks,
watching
Dewey.
Tennis
Thanks for the
2020
opportunity. Take care, guys.
Real Talk. Today, Dan Kiernan, Soto Tennis Academy. Um, we're going to be here for you. Tomorrow, I believe we have scheduled Amy O'Connell, who is Executive Director of USTA Atlanta, the largest community tennis association in the United States. And we will be on with her discussing at 10 a.m. Central Time tomorrow. And we'll be discussing how tennis is impacting what is the largest local area community tennis in the United States of America. So until then, Dewey Evans here, Austin Tennis Academy. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow.